Cash. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is a story time. Drizzling outside, so if y'all hear it in the background, I'm sorry. Y'all know I live in Florida. It's bipolar, so it's on and off. I don't think it's gonna rain the whole time. Let's pray it don't, and I can crank this one out. So this is going to be the story time of the time I lost my car in Miami. I just feel like the Miami curse had got me this time, especially because I was down there with somebody I had no business being with. So in this story time, I was with my ex, and we're going to call him Four. So me and Four had been beefing like really bad because we had a breakup, and y'all know I have a brother that passed away. Four had took his necklace from me, and it was like really bad. I was really upset. But I really wasn't supposed to be talking to Four because like we had gotten into it bad and he did that. It was all over Instagram and it was just embarrassing. So you know how like you get into those type of situations with your boyfriend and everybody be like, oh, if you get back with him, you stupid. Well, I was not the brightest. So basically I was going through like a hard time in school or whatever, and me and Four always had like this type of trauma bond. So anytime either one of us was going through a hard time, he would either reach out to me or I would reach out to him. But this time I was really mad about the brother thing, so I hadn't been talking to him. But I guess he could sense it. That's the thing about this trauma bonds, they know when you're weak. So he had hit me up and basically was telling me like, you know, oh, I miss you so much, like I just don't want anything to happen to you or me, and we're not on good terms, and we just didn't like reconcile our differences beforehand because that's what happened with me and my homeboy, blah blah blah. Now I'm not trying to be insensitive, but y'all, his homeboy had passed away like 3 years prior to this, and I'm not trying to disrespect his homeboy by saying this, but he would often do stuff that was messed up and then use his homeboy passing away as an excuse, like, oh, but we gotta make up because I don't want it to be a situation like it was with me and him. But at the same time, you knew that life was short before you did what you did, you know? So honestly, I was just stressed out about school. Me and my dad was beefing or whatever, so I was just going through a hard time. So when he had texted me, I was just like, you know, like, I don't want nothing to do with you, like, leave me alone for. But he was like, you know, I'm gonna be coming down there soon because me and my homeboys getting a B&B down there. We just gonna kick it down there for a week. Like, you know, let me know if you want to see me because I'll definitely make time out for you and you can come to the B&B, so on and so forth. But I ended up like, I didn't want to go to the B&B because his homeboys, it's just like, you know how your man's friends are not really your friends. That's how I kind of felt about his homeboys, and I just wasn't comfortable sitting in the B&B full of men, and knowing how his homeboys was, it was gonna be a revolving door full of girls that I didn't know, and I was just gonna be uncomfortable. So when he was first telling me about it, I really wasn't saying anything. I wasn't planning on coming, but I think I had ended up like getting a good grade on my test. So I was able to raise my grade back up. So I was like, you know what, let me go celebrate, reward myself, like I'm gonna go out with him. And then also refund checks had hit, so I was feeling like free band gang, like, you know what, I'm gonna take myself to Miami for a weekend, like I want to go do something fun. So I ended up hitting him up and I told him like, you know, I'm gonna be in Miami the same weekend that you're down here, so if you want to hang out, let me know. So he was like, oh, so are you gonna come to the B&B? And I just was not interested in going to that B&B, so I ended up getting my own hotel room because I always wanted to stay in like one of those high rises. That's one of my dream apartments. So when I seen one on Airbnb, it was like, I think maybe on like the 46th or the 64th floor. I can't remember which one it was, but it was really nice. It had the floor to ceiling windows, the big balcony, everything like that. So I ended up booking it. So I go ahead, I buy everything that I'm gonna need for Miami. I got like all the little Skims outfit. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm gonna go to Miami and have a time. I'm not gonna think about nothing that's going on with school or in life. Like, I'm gonna go down here and vibe. So when I told him I was coming down there, he was like, all right, matter of fact, I want to be with you. I don't even really want to be with my homeboys like that. My flight is gonna land around this time. Come pick me up from the Fort Lauderdale airport, and then we'll go back to the B&B together. So I'm like, all right, bet, sounds like a plan, because at this point I done fell for the okie doke and me and him back on good terms. So for the rest of the week, we just talking, we making plans about what we gonna do and what restaurants we gonna eat at while he down here, all that. So the day comes of his flight, and I knew that his flight probably landed like sometimes in the afternoon, and I stayed about an hour from Miami. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and get my nails done, and then when I'm done getting my nails done, I'm gonna text him and start heading down that way. Text him like, you know, I'm about to start headed to Miami, like send me your information, like, you know, I'm gonna come get you. So he didn't text me back, and for some reason I think I gave him a pass. I'm assuming that he was already on his flight, or he really wasn't checking his phone, or whatever the case may be. I go ahead and I drive down to Miami, and once I get there, like, mind you, I was stuck in traffic for maybe like an hour and a half, way longer than I was supposed to be. So when I got down there, I'm thinking I'm late to go get here from the airport, so I had stopped to get some gas, and I'm texting him like, hey, you know, what terminal are you at? Have you landed yet? All that. So my messages are delivering, but he's not texting me back. I go watch his story. Him and his homeboys, Harlow out. Him and his homeboys is riding around in Teslas doing donuts, and they just doing the most. So I'm like, you already landed because y'all had to go pick up the rental, and you didn't even call me. So I'm like, side-eyeing him. So I end up calling him again, and he answers, and you know, this time like they all in the car playing music or whatever, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna call you right back, I'm gonna call you right back. So at that point when he did all that, I'm like, you know what, I'm about to just go ahead and start heading to the B&B, because if they got a rental, you can find your own way to make it here since you want to take your time, because I don't run on your time, you gonna hurry up. So when I finally make it down to Miami, I use the GPS and I end up finding out where our hotel is. But then it dawns on me, for some odd reason, I just assumed that because we live in a high rise, well, we staying in a high rise, they're gonna have parking spots available because it's like 60 floors. No, y'all. I went to go check the B&B information. There was no parking available for the tenants. Everybody else is just parking on the street. Mind you, a lot of people live out there, so all the street parking is taken. It's restaurants, it's a college nearby. All the street parking is taken, so I'm riding around looking for a parking garage. Now, I don't know what was going on this day, if there was like a big game happening or whatever, but the parking garages are like all taxing an arm and a leg, because y'all know how they get in Miami. So I'm riding around, I'm looking for like a cheap parking garage, and I pull into this one parking garage, and I don't know how I did it. Maybe because this was around the time where I first got my car and I wasn't the best driver. I ended up hitting the wall. And I didn't hit the wall like head on. I just kind of like, I kissed the wall with like the side a little bit of my car. When I hit the wall, I heard it, and all I heard was all my hopes and dreams just crunching to that wall, because this was my first car. So I'm like, oh my God. So I get out to go look at my car, and it doesn't look that bad. No, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, it looked bad. So I'm over there hurt, and I'm looking at the car, and the parking valet, they start coming out, and they like kind of laughing at me, and I'm just like annoyed. So I hurry up and I pull out of there. And I'm so aggravated, I'm just mad that I hit my car on the wall. I'm trying to hurry up and find a parking garage and just park and call it a day. I finally pull up to this parking garage after I've been riding around in circles, and this one is actually close to the hotel. It don't have no valet guy. There's no sign saying that you have to pay, and the gate is open. So I'm like, damn, somebody finally got free parking for the event. Like, that's real of them. So I go ahead and I pull into the parking lot, and it's like a big old garage once you get down there. And I'm like, damn, I really wasn't expecting all of this, because it was kind of like an underground garage, but there's like a whole bunch of parking spots open. So I go ahead and I get out, and I take my key ring, well, for my car key, I take my car key off the key ring, and I go ahead and I put that in one of my bags. So when I go to check in a hotel, all I take is my car key and like my little book bag that has like my toiletries, like body wash and stuff like that in it. So when I get out the car, mind you, I got on like this little white Skims dupe outfit, but it's like a t-shirt and some white pants, but it's real cute, but it's also like real sexy. So when I get out the car, I peep like these two people that look like they, I don't know if they were security guards or police officers, because they had on like the bulletproof vest and all that, and they had weapons, but I didn't see them with like, you know, the real uniform on. So they're talking to each other, but once I get out the car and I walk past them, they kind of look at me like they look at me like crazy. They literally stopped their conversation, and they both looked at each other, then looked at me. And I'm like, you know, maybe they're just looking at me crazy because I'm dressed inappropriate, but at the same time, like, it's Miami. I'm pretty sure people walk around here with worse on. Keep that in mind, because I should have thought about why they was looking at me like that. So I walk out the garage, and my hotel is literally like 3 minutes to 5 minutes walking distance from the garage. So I'm out there, I'm looking for the key and stuff like that. Mind you, I don't know how to do a combination lock. So apparently the Airbnb lady wasn't supposed to be doing Airbnbs inside of her units. I think the building did have Airbnb, but only the building could do it. You couldn't do it for your own unit, if that makes sense. So when I get there, basically the directions are telling me, like, you know, you have to go find a bike rack and find a combination lock that's attached to the bike rack, and you got to open it up, and you got to take the key fob out of that. So I'm bending down, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get the key out, and people are riding past, and they're honking their horns at me, and they're trying to talk to me, because mind you, I got on an all white outfit. I'm bent over showing everything that my mama gave me, and it was just like so embarrassing. So eventually these two boys, I guess they was tired of seeing me struggle, they walk over there, they help me. One of them spit game to me for a minute, but I'm like, you know, no, I'm trying to be respectful towards 4. Mind you, whole time 4 still ain't here, still ain't text me, still ain't called me, nothing. So I finally get the key fob. I end up making it upstairs. I go into the room, y'all, and the room is gorgeous. Like the big old marble countertops, really nice spacious layout. It's just, the whole living room was beautiful. I love the sound system. I loved everything about this high rise. Like, this apartment was the reason why I want a high rise apartment in the future. So I'm in there taking my pictures, I'm vibing, I'm having a good old time. So after a while, I had got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make the best out of this trip. I'm not gonna let 4 stop me. Like, if he don't want to kick it with me, that's fine, I'm gonna just kick it by myself. So there was this girl who had lived in Miami, and I think around this time I wasn't popping on TikTok. I didn't even have a TikTok, but my Instagram was kind of like, you know, a lot of girls just follow me or whatever. So she was following me on Instagram, and she had been asking me for a while, like randomly. She just followed me one day, and she was from Miami too, and she was saying like, girl, let's link up, let's link up. So when I had posted that I was in Miami, because, you know, I had posted like a little picture of me with the tag on there, and she was like, oh girl, like let's link, let's hang out. And I'm like, all right, bet, like let's do it. So I basically was telling her like, all right, let me go change my clothes and shower and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna be on my way, because I still had to walk back down to the car to grab my duffel bag with all my clothes in it. So I end up heading outside of the hotel, and I'm following like the little GPS on my phone, you know, your parked car location. Y'all, while I'm looking for my car and cannot find it. So I'm looking everywhere, and mind you, I'm reading the GPS and it's saying I'm right on top of my car. Only thing I'm seeing is like there's like a little prison. I don't think it was a prison, it was more of like a detention center. Like that's like the holding center before they send you to the prison, I guess, if you have court or something. That was the only thing around us. So I'm like, ain't no way that my car is in there. But the building had looked like where I parked at. But I'm like, you know what, a lot of these buildings look alike and they're doing construction. So at this point I'm gaslighting myself. So I'm still looking around, looking for my car, and I'm like, you know what, this can't be the parking garage, because there's not even an entrance for the parking garage. Like, girl, you need to go find your car. So I started walking around the city, y'all. I'm probably walking around for like a solid 2 hours looking for my car, and I'm just crying. And I done checked every parking garage within like a 25-minute radius of me, and I cannot find my car. And it got to the point where I was starting to walk in circles so much that I was walking to the same parking garages. So I ended up doing a DoorDash order for a charger, just so I won't be in there like, you know, ass out. So while I'm waiting on the charger, the Uber driver, he's being ignorant. My phone's about to go dead. I'm just stressed out. So eventually he comes, I get the charger, and he sells me one of those chargers that works super slow. So I just plug the charger up into my laptop, because he didn't get me a block for it, and I just go to sleep. So I wake up a few hours later, because I done cried myself to sleep, and now Fo texting me, and he's like, hey, where you at? Like, I'm finna come to the B&B, come get me, come get me. And I'm like, I can't come get you, like I don't know where my car is at. And he's like, bruh, you just doing this, like you just trying to be funny, like stop playing, like you're doing too much, like come get me. And I'm like, I can't come get you, I don't know where my car is at. So he was like, what you mean you don't know your car? Your car done got towed or something? I'm like, no, I don't know what parking garage I parked in. And I just started crying and stuff like that. He was like, man, stop crying, like I'm gonna come help you, I'm on my way over there, like I'm finna get an Uber. But I'm still mad at him, so I'm like, no, don't come for it. Like, you know, you showed me where you rather be at, you rather be with your homeboys. Because at this point, call me childish, but in my mind I felt like if I would have went and picked Ford up from the airport like I was supposed to, he would have remembered where I parked at. Because y'all, I'm just a girl, and you know how it be when you get with the man, you can just turn your brain off. If he was with me, I would have turned my brain off, but he wasn't. So lo and behold, eventually he ends up, like, me and him, we just going back and forth. Eventually I just send him the address, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna pull up soon. So once he makes it to the hotel building, he calls me and is like, come downstairs and meet me. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to come downstairs and meet you. Like, you know, you a grown man, ride the elevator up, come in. And he's like, nah, bro, like I don't know where to go, and I don't be wanting to wander around aimlessly, and they call the police, like come down here and get me. And he was just being dramatic. Nobody was thinking about him, because if you ever been at a hotel in Miami, you know that they be so crowded and so busy, and so many people be coming in from traveling, they don't even pay you no mind. So I ended up going downstairs to get him, and I bring the key fob with me, just making sure that I was going to be able to get back in the room. So we riding the elevator up, and he's like, it's going to be okay. Like, I'm going to order us some food. I'm going to order us some drinks, and we're going to have a good time. So I'm not really paying him no mind. We get back up to the room, and I start pressing the key fob up against the thing, and it's not working. And he's like, you know what? Maybe you had the key fob too close to your phone. You know, usually you'll mess up the key like that. Like, you just got to give it a minute. So we sitting up there for probably like 10 minutes just talking, waiting on the key fob to start working again. Try it again, it's still not working. So we ride the elevator all the way back down, and we tell the front desk people like, hey, you know, the key fob isn't working, so on and so forth. Because I had tried to text the Airbnb lady, but she was taking her sweet time to respond. So when I had got down there, that's when they had kind of let me know, like, you know, that unit isn't one of the ones that we're leasing out, so how did you get in it? And I was just like, oop, whatever. So I had ended up walking away for a minute, and I went to contact the Airbnb host, and she was like, just tell them that you're my cousin and they'll fix the key, like, but don't tell them that you are a guest. I'm like, okay. So I went back over there, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm staying in my cousin's apartment. And he's looking at me crazy because this lady is white, I'm black, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. But I guess he felt bad for us because it was kind of late at night. I had on like a little bit of pajamas that I had went and bought from Walgreens. So I got on like this big old Miami shirt and some shorts. And I know he did not want me in the lobby like that because I looked crazy. So he was over there trying to fix the key fob for us. And me and before we start talking. So we're just talking, and I started to get overwhelmed by everything that's going on, and I just started boo-hoo crying like in the middle of the lobby, and the guy's looking at me, and I know he like, girl, you was making our establishment look so ghetto. So I'm down there crying. Forrest like, it's okay, like stop crying, everything gonna be all right. Like, I'm gonna order you some food, I'm gonna order you something to drink. Like, maybe you just hungry and you tired, like, you know, you just need to relax. Like, you can still make the best of this trip. And he was like, you know what, don't even worry about it, like, we'll go look for your car tomorrow morning. So I'm like, all right. So eventually the guy finally fixed the key fob. We head back upstairs, and it works this time, thank God. So once we get in the room, he's looking around the room. He's like, oh, this is nice. Like, you know, this is real cool. So he ended up like, he was like, you know, let me make you feel better. And that's exactly what he did. He was a munch and I was lunch. So yeah, I ended up being in a good mood, and our food and our drinks ended up delivering. So we over there drinking and we eating, we having a good old time. Sorry about that, y'all. My camera had went dead. Sorry, we put a new battery in it. We were locked and loaded, ready to go. So while we're out there on the balcony, he's like pretty much, so, you know, just talking to me about, oh, like, we should get back together, me and you would be so good together and stuff like that. And I'm just like trying to change the subject, because I really didn't want to talk about it at this point, because we both tipsy and we feeling good. But when he get tipsy, he wants to talk about being in love and stuff like that. And when I get tipsy, I just want to vibe, because in real life I know he's not serious, and I don't want to fall for the okie doke and be like, yo, let's get back together, and then I go through the same thing that I went through with him before, if you get what I'm saying. So after I had like changed the subject, I was like, oh, like, you know, be quiet, I'm finna take a picture of the scenery or whatever. So I'm recording the scenery, because I told y'all we up high, we like on the 60th floor somewhere. So I'm recording the scenery, and he started talking in the background of my video, and I'm like, boy, be quiet, because technically nobody's supposed to know that I'm here with him, especially not my friends and my sisters, because everybody, girl, you are dumb for being around this man after everything he done did to you.
Man, this shit hard.
Oh my God, be quiet.
Oh.
God damn. So while I'm recording the video, he's talking, so I just like was like, boy, be quiet, and I started laughing. So that was like one of the bloopers. So I ended up posting that one on my close friend story, and I muted it, and I had posted like the regular video of just the scenery on my public story. So when I had posted that story, old girl just went to beating my phone down, because at this point we had already agreed that we wasn't gonna hang out today, we were probably just gonna hang out tomorrow. So when I posted that, she's like, who are you with? Like, but she didn't swipe up on my story. She had just texted me like in a thread again, and I'm like, oh, you know, you don't know who I'm with. But at the same time, like, she ended up texting me again and was like, yeah, you sure? Like, who are you with? And in my head, I'm just like, oh, why is you asking me who I'm with? Like, obviously I'm in a hotel room with a man. That makes him my man. Why is you asking me about my man? Because, you know, at this point, the TP done kicked in, so I'm ready to get violent. Like, because, girl, why do you keep on asking me about my man? So before I even had a chance to respond to her, he had pulled me on the balcony, and we were like, you know, doing a little Titanic scene where he stands behind me, and then we do like, we just be looking out into the ocean, not the ocean, but we looking out over Miami. We're like, oh, this is so beautiful, so on and so forth. So the next day, he ended up ordering me breakfast, and we're sitting in a hotel room, we're just chilling, we're eating, trying to recuperate from last night. So she ends up texting me again, it's like, hey, good morning, you still want to hang today? And she sent like a whole bunch of question marks afterwards. So I had ended up asking him, like, hey, do you know this girl? And he just like looked at me like he almost choked on his omelet, and he was like, nah, I don't know her, why you ask that? And I'm just like, just asking. Because at this point, I really should have pressed him harder, but I was so focused on finding my car. I'm like, you know what? Even if you do know old girl right now, we got bigger fish to fry. At this point, I'm super sad because we getting ready for checkout, and it's a Sunday, and I still have not got my car back. So I am hurt. So he ends up telling me, he's like, look, like, I'm gonna just order your Uber to your sister's house, because I couldn't go home because I didn't have my house keys. Those were also in my car. And he was like, you know what, just come back on Monday and look for your car, because then it'll be a weekday and people can help you. And if they did tow it, we can call around and ask some of the tow companies, do they still have your car? So he ended up ordering my Uber. He went with his homeboys. I went back home. Old girl was still texting me, but at this point, I thought that both of them were weird. So I had to stop responding to her, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to handle this after I get my car fixed. Well, after I find my car. So I ended up going to my sister's house. I sleep with my nephews for that night. Well, I sleep in my nephew's bed that night, and they made me feel better about it. So when I went back to Miami the next day, I had a more positive outlook, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go find my car. So I walk around all the other parking garages, and then I go back to the one that was like, you know, the detention center that I thought my car was parked in, but I didn't see it, like a parking garage. So when I get to the detention center, I'm walking up to one of the security guards, and I'm like, hey, sir, can you help me? And he's like, no, like, I really can't help you, because the way this detention center was set up, like, the prisoners could look down on us from like the little window sills or whatever, so they couldn't like hear you, but they could see you. And a lot of people would be down there, like their loved ones would be down there, like sending them hearts and stuff like that, and like blowing kisses. So it was already a lot of people down there, so I think that's what he thought I was gonna do, like try to see if I could talk to an inmate or something like that. And I was like, no, like it's not that. Like I think I parked my car in the like over here somewhere and I can't find it. Like, do you know there's any parking garages? Because when I check my phone, it says that I'm parked right here. And he was like, that's impossible for you to be parked right here. There's no parking garages for the public. And I was like, yeah, but is there any parking garages in general? Because it may not be a public one, but I know my car has to be parked over here somewhere. And he's just like, there's only one parking garage, and that's for the security guards that work here, like the corrections officers. And I was like, well, would you mind opening it up so like I can see if my car is in there? If not, I'll walk away and I'll leave you alone. And he was like, I can't let you in there, that's restricted area. And I was like, please. He's like, there wasn't even a way that you would have been able to get your car in there. So he ends up looking at me, and then he looks at the phone and he sees what I'm talking about as far as like the location thing. So he's like, look, I'm gonna open up the parking garage. You got your car key? Press your alarm. If it goes off, then you can go in there and get your car. If it don't go off, you need to go away right now and don't come back over here. So he ends up opening up the garage, and y'all, when I tell y'all, it was like on some Indiana Jones type shit, bro. So the wall literally like opened up, because there was a parking garage right there, but what it was is like the way the walls closes, it looks like it's just a part of the building. So the wall opens up, and then the gate swings upwards, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, damn, this looks just like the garage I parked in. So he ends up opening the gate for me, and I go down and I press my alarm, and I hear my car alarm go off. And before I could run in there, he kind of stopped me, and he's like, nobody was right here watching this gate? I was like, no. He was like, the gate wasn't down? Neither of the gates? I said, no. Like, that's how I was able to get in there. Like, I didn't even have to take a parking ticket. And he was just like, hurry up and go in there and get your car, and hurry up and come back out. Because I guess if anybody would have seen me inside of that parking garage, they would have got in trouble, which is why the security guards was looking at me like I was crazy. But I went in there, y'all. When I tell y'all, I got my car and I kissed the steering wheel. I was so happy to have my car back. But after that, I had went home, and I do not like driving my car down to Miami. That happened years ago, and since then I probably only drove my car to that side of Miami probably once. I do not like going to that side of Miami, and I had a fear of parking garages for a while. Like, I was parking on the street. I learned how to parallel park because I refused to go in the garage. But that would be the end of the story time about how I lost my car in Miami. Oh, speaking of old girl, I never even found out if they really knew each other, because I was so focused on my car, and once I got my car back, everything was right with the world. She ended up unfollowing me, but she still watches my story like to this day. So I do think that she knew that man, but he wasn't gonna tell the truth, and she seemed like she was ready to go to war about it. So who knows? I was just happy I got my car back. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking by me. And if you made it this far in the video, please drop, I don't know, drop some red hearts. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next story time. Bye. Mwah.